to Jesus, "We're supposed to love our neighbour, right? Well, who exactly is our neighbour?" Now that was something Jesus really wanted to help people to understand. He wanted them to know how they should treat other people, and so he told them this story. One day, a Jewish man had to go from Jerusalem to Jericho. Now that was quite a long way, about 15 miles. And in those days, there were no trains or buses or cars. The only way you could get there was to walk. And that wasn't always the safest thing to do, because sometimes there were gangs of robbers about who might attack you and hurt you. Anyway, the man set off and everything was going fine. He was making good progress along the road to Jericho when suddenly a group of men leapt out at him from behind some rocks and attacked him. They kicked him, they punched him, they beat him up, they stripped off some of his clothes, and then they ran off, leaving him at the side of the road, half dead. Well, his head hurt, his hands and arms hurt, his legs hurt, every bit of him hurt. And he lay there, feeling very scared and wondering what was happening to him. Sometime later, he heard footsteps coming along the road. And when he looked up, he saw a priest from the temple walking down the road towards him. "Oh," he said, "surely that's someone who'll help me." Well, the priest got close to him and he looked at him and he went, "Ooh," crossed the road and hurried on the other side of the road. Sometime later, the man heard more footsteps. When he looked up, he was a Levite coming down the road. Now, the Levites were people who worked in the temple helping the priests, and so the man thought, "Oh, surely this is someone who'll help me." The Levite slowed down as he got near him, and he looked at the man and went, "Oh," crossed the road and hurried on the other side. Well, by this time, the poor man was feeling even more scared and very worried about what was going to happen to him. A bit later still, he heard footsteps again, and this time he heard clip, clop, clip, clop. It was a donkey beside the man, and when he had a closer look, he thought, "Oh no, it's a Samaritan." Now, the Jews and the Samaritans really didn't like each other. They just didn't get on. And the man thought to himself, "Well, there's no way that Samaritan's going to help me." And so he just closed his eyes and lay quietly beside the road, hoping he wouldn't be noticed. To his surprise, a few minutes later, he was aware of someone bending over him. He opened his eyes and he heard a voice saying, "Hey, you're hurt. Let me help you." It was a Samaritan. Well, the Samaritan rummaged in his bag on the donkey's back and found some bandages and some ointment. And he put ointment on the man's wounds and bandaged them up, and then very gently helped him onto the donkey. And the two of them, the Jewish man and the Samaritan, continued on down the road together. A bit later, they reached an inn, and the Samaritan said, "We're going to stop here and spend the night here so that you can rest." And he carefully helped him off the donkey and into the inn and found him a room for the night. The next morning, the Samaritan took out 2 pieces of silver, 2 silver coins, and gave them to the innkeeper. Now that was worth a lot of money in those days. And he said to the innkeeper, "Please look after that man for me until he's well enough to continue his journey. And if it costs more than that to look after him, don't worry, on my way back I will pay you the rest." Well, I think the Samaritan was a really good neighbour to that poor man who was attacked, don't you? Jesus wants us to treat other people with kindness too. I wonder who our neighbour is. I think it means anyone who needs our help.